What's up guys, welcome back. Today I've got some good news for you and I've also got some bad news. So the good news, actually great news, is that the Drift Z is finally working properly, I think. I took it for a test drive just a quick couple minutes the other day, and it seems to be doing all the things that it's supposed to do. Which is fantastic. I am so relieved. It's been a long time that this car has not been drivable. And so the bad news though is I didn't film any of what I did to fix it. I basically just got an idea and I had to execute it as quick as possible because drift season is starting now and I was just kind of desperate to get the car working. So I just put my head down and got to work and it worked out. So I'll show you now what I did because I'm sure you're curious and I think it's very interesting. Alright, so I was just completely fed up with electrical stuff, right? So if you've been following along with the videos for a little while, you'll know that basically the throttle body wasn't getting any signal, so it would basically not rev up at all when I would press the pedal. So I thought to myself, why not just get rid of all the electronics? Go back to a good old-fashioned cable throttle. And that is exactly what I've done. So it's definitely a bit unconventional. I took some engineering and customization, but here it is. So what I did is I bought a bike brake cable and I took this little lever piece off of my actual bike. I know it sounds dumb, but hey, whatever works, right? And basically now the pedal just pulls on the cable, which opens the throttle like that. You might be wondering, how does the ECU even allow this to work? Doesn't it rely on all the correct electrical signals coming through? And yeah, honestly, I have no idea what to tell you. I wasn't sure if this was gonna work either, but I just went all in on it because it was really my only hope. And you know what? It worked. For now, at least. We'll see if it continues working, but yeah, man, you guys have no idea how just relieved I am that this worked. It's been like 6 months of struggling with this, and to finally have it do the things I want it to do is just an incredible feeling. So there is still a sensor on the actual pedal assembly inside the car, and so I guess the ECU is seeing some sort of throttle position from that sensor, but there was supposed to be a sensor on the throttle body, and that's no longer there. So, hey, I don't know, but if it works, and that's good enough for me, right? Alright guys, I'm coming to you now from the future to give you a bit of an update on how all of this actually worked. So it's now after the weekend of drifting, and you guys are going to see that yet, I think not in this video, but in the next one, so stay tuned for that. So spoiler alert, the car worked perfectly. I did a bunch of laps, skid pad and road course, and yeah, the car performed flawlessly. I am over the moon with how it drove. It might even be better than it was before, or maybe it's just been too long since I drove it last, but either way, I'm very happy with how it felt. It felt amazing to be finally drifting again behind the wheel of this thing. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I posted this reel about how I did the cable throttle conversion on this car, and it went kind of crazy. I think it has over 200,000 views at this point, which is ridiculous. I didn't expect that at all. And so a lot of people had questions about how this actually works and how I did it. Now that I know that it actually works properly after some proper real-world testing, I'm going to give a more in-depth explanation about how I actually did it for everyone who was asking questions. Okay, before I get into it, I need to give a little bit of a disclaimer. This is not me giving anyone legitimate mechanical advice, so don't take it like that. What I'm about to show you is absolutely not the proper way to fix an issue with your electric throttle. I am by no means an expert on any of this. Most of the time I don't even know what I'm doing. I just try a lot of things and I fail a lot, but this time I happen to succeed. I am doing this explanation because there was a lot of people on Instagram that were asking me questions. It's not because I want to showcase this as a real solution to this problem, alright? So feel free to try this on your own cars, but I am absolutely not guaranteeing that this will work on your car. So if you try it and it doesn't work, don't be like, oh Joel, you told me this would work and it doesn't, alright? That's not what this is. I have no idea if this would ever work again on any other car. But it works on my car, and I'm happy about that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, so here is my throttle body. This is the original throttle from the 350Z VQ35 engine. This cover was on the side like that. It was riveted on. I drilled out the rivets and popped off this cover. there's the plug for the electronics going into it. So with that cover off, there are gears in here. This is the motor. There's another gear in the middle here, which would connect to this gear, which would actually turn the throttle plate. So as you can see, I removed this middle gear so that the motor is not actually connected to the throttle plate anymore. So then I needed to figure out a way to attach a cable to this throttle body. So I searched online for some parts and trying to see what might work, and I really couldn't find anything that looked like it would work well. So then I came up with this idea, and it was to use bike brake parts because they're easy to find. The system works pretty much the same. It's just a cable that pulls on a lever to create a circular motion, which is exactly what I need. So I found a $10 brake cable, and then I was thinking about how I would attach that cable to this shaft so that it would turn. And then I was looking at my actual bike and I saw this little piece on the disc brake system. And I thought that would be absolutely perfect because it's literally made to hold a cable on here. So basically the cable just goes through here and then you tighten the screw and it clamps that down onto the cable and it works perfectly because that's exactly what it was designed to do. So yeah, I just took this little lever off of my actual bike, slipped it over the shaft here. I had to do a little bit of fabrication. I had to make some tiny little metal brackets to slide in so that it would be solid. I welded that all together and then did some JB weld on top to make it completely solid, and it is absolutely solid. There's no play in this whatsoever, and this is after a full weekend of abuse too, so you know it's got to be strong. So that's how I modified the throttle body. So let me show you the cable that I have installed here. There's the end of the cable there where it attaches to the lever on the throttle body, and then it goes down around here and through a hole in the firewall right there, which goes straight down into the footwell where the pedal attaches down there. Yeah, anyway, that was not too difficult. And then the last piece to the system is, of course, the pedal, which I have here. So the pedal has this little sensor on it, which, as you can see, as you press the pedal, it moves that, which will, I'm assuming it sends a signal to the ECU. And so all I needed to do was attach the cable to this end of the pedal. So as you can see, I made this little bracket. The cable has a little end on it that slides in through here. The cable goes through this little slit I cut. This curve just allows the cable to be securely in there. It allows it to be removed still, but it won't slip out at all during regular usage. So yeah, the pedal just mounts in the car like that. You press the pedal and it pulls on the cable just like that. Not too complicated, to be honest. It was just a little bit of creativity and engineering to figure out how to connect everything. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, there's not too much to it. It wasn't even that difficult to do. It was just a lot of putting things in and taking them out and just trying to get everything adjusted properly so that the cable would let the throttle close fully, but it would also open fully without pulling too far. I don't want the cable to snap or stretch more than it needs to. So yeah, that's about it. I hope this answered any of the questions that you might have had. If you do still have more questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I will respond to the best of my ability. But like I said, I am no expert, so I can't really answer any of the technical like ECU and tune related stuff. I can tell you that this car has not been tuned at all. It's just factory ECU. Nothing has been tampered with at all, and it just works. I know a lot of people were asking like, how does that work? Doesn't it trip out the ECU? And that's something that I just can't answer. All I can say is that it works. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I just don't have that knowledge. So yeah, that's all I can tell you. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's get back to the video, preparing the car for drifting. So this means my work is not over. Like I said, drift season is starting now, pretty much. In fact, it's, I think 4 days from right now is the first event at my local track. And I really want to make it there. So what I have to do now is do an alignment on the car because I know it's really out of whack right now. So that's definitely the first on the priority list. And then there's a few other things that can get done but don't necessarily need to. So I'll see how much time I have. So yeah, let's align this thing. Oh, also, I lowered the ride height. And so now it's sitting properly. Look at that. These wheels are slightly aggressive, I will admit. They poke a little bit, but I probably won't use these ones for drifting because they're very wide. Anyway, yeah, let's align this thing. Okay, change of clothes because I don't want to lay on this nasty floor in a nice shirt. Anyway, let me show you my incredibly fancy high-tech alignment tool. Ta-da! Yep, this is how I do it. And this is a bit awkward because I need to use you guys to measure because I'm filming with my phone and I use the level on my phone. Yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna measure the camber and then I'll put you guys right back. Alright, surprisingly, the camber was pretty much perfect on both sides. So, I'm gonna leave it for now and do the toe. So I'm gonna measure first to a point on the chassis to make sure both sides are even, and then I'll measure the overall toe. So, let me go to somewhere in the door jam. Oh, I need a longer piece. Okay. Alright, found one. Oh yeah, that'll work perfect. Okay, 7 7/8. Measure the same on the other side. Okay, that side is 6 5/8, so more than an inch different from side to side. So I'm gonna start by removing toe in from that side because visually it just looks like it has way too much. So yeah, that's what I'll start with and then I'll go from there. Alright, it's now even on both sides, so now I will measure the overall toe, for which I have this beautiful contraption. So I will hook the tape measure on over here and then go to the other side and see what the measurement is. Okay, so it turns out it's really difficult to measure the front accurately because of how low the car is. The subframe mounts are kind of in the way and you can't get the tape to go straight. But as far as I can tell, it looks like it has about half an inch of toe in, maybe less. I hope it's less because half inch might be a bit too much grip. But if that's the case, I can always counteract with tire pressure. So I'm gonna say it'll be fine for this weekend. I also did an oil change and a transmission fluid change the other day, so that's all good to go as well. And that means that the car is pretty much mechanically ready to go drifting, which is awesome because that means now we get to move on to some fun stuff like making the car look cool. And oh man, I got some things that are really gonna set it off. And one of them might be in those white boxes right there, but I think those will have to wait a little while. First I got some other things to do. Okay, so one of those things that I want to do is this, exhaust tips. And I want to make them look really cool. So here is my plan. I'm gonna mount them like this, super aggressive, hot boy styling. I'm sure it's not everyone's style, but I think it's gonna look sick. But here's the thing though, it's gonna take some custom fabrication and all that, which means it'll take some time, and I don't have a lot of time, and I wanna do it right, and so I don't wanna rush it. So I think I'm gonna leave these for after the weekend, so then I don't have to rush myself and I can take my time and make it look good. But what's even more exciting than cool exhaust tips is what I'm going to install next, and I'm very excited for this one. Before I show you what it is, I just gotta say this is something that I have been dreaming of doing ever since I was interested in modifying cars, and today it's finally becoming a reality. It's a very big upgrade. It goes on the back of the car, and it looks something like this. Boys, this is wild. Y'all got no idea how stoked I am for this. I've been waiting for years to put a massive wing on a car. This is so sick, dude. Look how big it is. I can barely reach across. Oh, this is epic. I've already got my holes marked out on the trunk, so it's just a matter of drilling them out and bolting the wing on.
Ball in my core, high step is a layer. My life like a movie, just keep moving, it's a trailer. Shopping in my kitchen, got me trying to get my cake up. I thank God for all this coming to me, not straight up. Ball in my core, high step is a layer. My life like a movie, just keep moving, it's a trailer. Shopping in my kitchen, got me trying to get my cake up. I thank God for all this coming to me, not straight up. Big bros care my line, sell a brother, get your feet in. But tap in with your peoples, make sure they doing decent. Show me how to readjust some ways I've been thinking. Been trying to tell what I've been building.
Oh my gosh. Look at this, guys. That is so sick. Wow, it is everything I dreamed that it would be. This is crazy. I cannot wait to see this outside with all the body kit on and everything. My side skirts are not on right now, as you can see, but having them off makes it a lot easier to get onto the trailer anyway, so I'll leave them off for now. And obviously the rear fitment isn't ideal. All my drift spares are just different sizes and offsets, and so it kind of just is what it is. Once I get tires mounted on my new wheels, I will order some spacers to at least have good fitment with those ones. I didn't really want to spend the money on 16 brand new wheels because that's kind of how many I would need. But anyway, guys, I'm so stoked on this wing. Look at these end plates too. These are rad. They're also kind of dangerous. That is very sharp. It already hurt me once while installing it. But that's all right. I guess that's just the price I gotta pay for having style. It's all right, I'll deal with it. Yeah, I am so excited for this. The look certainly isn't completed yet. It still needs the exhaust tips and the shiny new wheels, of course. But it definitely makes the rear end way more aggressive.
Custom gold fronts now. Soul already shine, I need no diamond roll it bust down. No matter how far, I can't forget the opposition. If you ain't been running front and side, you seen this competition. Wisdom telling me better slow down. My heart and mind conflict. I'm patient, ain't no free pass, and I'm paid a lot for my position.
Alright, one of the last little things that I want to do is some spray paint touch-ups on the rear bumper here. You can see these little edges here on both sides. I had some Bondo stacked up on here before to fill this gap, but it kind of just broke off as soon as the bumper flexed a little bit. So I'm not sure what the best solution is here because this gap obviously isn't ideal. But for now I'm just going to paint this green, so from a distance you're not really going to notice how big of a gap there is if that's the same color. So I'll do that on both sides. There's also this little bit by the exhaust. I'll spray paint that and it should look okay from a distance.
But I too loyal, I can't switch teams. Running out for them trophies, but I face all in that big screen. That fame hit street fast, whistle quicker than that two-speed. I can't let my soul put trust in diamonds and gold. But when I don't let you fall onto no trap, though, I stay motive. Seen them hovering over your shoulders. Hit a lick while you gone, I'm keeping all enemies closer. Yeah, I've been ready on 10 toes. Don't ball in my core, high step, it's a layup. My life like a movie, just keep moving, it's a trailer. Shopping in my kitchen, got me trying to get my cake up.
Okay, I've got 3 coats of paint on there, so while that dries, I'm gonna give this whole car a good wipe down because it's gotten pretty dirty just sitting here for the last few months.
They love the new friends, ready to be outside with my kin. They glue on my chain on like I'm sitting on something else. Be careful, you too loud with it, they get you for your hands and all that flex around for nothing.
Alright guys, it's now Friday evening, which means we're going drifting tomorrow. So it's time to load up the car and get everything ready. I'm very excited, I haven't done this in a long time, so yeah, this is gonna be cool. I think the last thing I showed you was doing the touch-ups on the bumper. So that's all dry now. It doesn't exactly match, but it's pretty close, so it's good enough for me. I'm gonna leave the body kit off for driving on the trailer though, because it'll be way too low with it on. Alright, we're all loaded up. As you could probably tell from the time lapse, that was a bit of an adventure. I've never used a trailer with a angled tail like this before, so that made it a bit extra difficult, but we made it. So thanks to my dad for the help, and yeah, we'll need some help to get off at the track, but I'm sure that'll be no problem. And yeah, side skirts are back on for the first time in a very long time. I actually forgot how broken they were from last year, so they're still broken, but hey, they look cool and you can't tell from a distance. Got all my tires in the back and the wood needed for getting the car on the trailer. Inside I have all tools and fluids and all sorts of things that I may need for a weekend of drifting. So yeah, ready to go for tomorrow morning. Let's go! We are so back, baby!